I'm Amanda Ferguson in Mississauga. Racism is a problem within the Peel District School Board. That stunning admission came over a year ago after two scathing reports painted a troubling picture of deep-rooted discrimination within their schools, especially directed towards black students. Well, today, the school board says not only do they have an action plan to turn it all around, but it begins now.
I'm taking biology, theory of knowledge, which is kind of like a history course.
We're only 2 months into his final year at high school, yet LIBAN Osman's aspirations are about as high as his academic track record.
For a long time, I've always wanted to be a doctor.
Osman is well on his way, but his journey hasn't always been easy. The honor roll student says he came face to face with discrimination in Peel's school system during an academic award ceremony while in middle school.
All the students were lining up outside of the room so that we were able to gather our certificates. And me and my friend, who was also black, we were near the end of the line. Me and my friend were both stopped at the door, and we were asked whether we won an award. And confused, we looked at each other and were like, well, yeah, why would we be here?
It turns out experiences like this one were not unique within the Peel District School Board. An independent study done in 2015 found many black youth said they felt unwanted, devalued, and socially isolated in school. Many felt they were being streamed to applied versus academic courses based solely on their skin color. The board followed that up with their own report finding much of the same. After a year of meetings and hand-wringing, the PDSB now says it has an action plan to address it. How do you address something like bias within your own staff?
So this is where I think, training is good, but training is usually a one-stop shop.
The board is not only rolling out anti-black racism training to all of its staff starting this year, but also a study on wider discrimination issues within Canada and how it filters down into the education system.
Where did it start? How do people experience and see black male youth generally? So I think it is a lot of education for everybody.
And I don't know if it was more surprising than it was more saddening. It was sad.
The United Way was just one of the authors behind the groundbreaking 2015 report. It's now a vocal supporter of the board's action plan to address some of the issues it was first to highlight.
I think part of the change that needs to take place is building that trust within the community. And so they've opened the doors and said, we want to hear.
Ultimately opening doors for healing and for students like Osman to succeed.
Personally, I like to see teachers to be a little bit more sensitive to the fact that racism is an issue. It's one of my goals to see a world where blacks, whites, whatever color you are, to live in harmony and not really have to deal with discrimination day in and day out.
Change will take time. The board says most of its principals, directors, and managers will go through the special anti-discrimination training this year with the hope of filtering that down to their teachers by next year. Amanda Ferguson, City News.